Okay, YouTube, Midwest Box Trucking. Today, I want to discuss why I am renting before buying a box truck. So, we're going to get right into it. The number one reason I'm renting as opposed to just going directly out and buying a box truck is it's less overhead. Okay, so if you got 15 grand that you want to start out with, you might have a little less than that. But pretty much you don't want to deplete the entire 15 grand getting started. You never know what type of issues, problems you may run into initially that you need, funds for on top of, just the cost of fuel. A lot of people end up getting factoring services because they depleted all their funds starting up. So by the time you actually get out on the road, you need a little help to get going. So to avoid that, you know that's why I'm making this video. So pretty much, yes, initially you're going to start out with less overhead. In my calculations, for me to get started, I'm having to put 1,400 down on my rental truck, 1,000 of that being, in case, it's any damages or issues, that's what that 1,000 is for. The 400 is for the first week of rental. So technically it's $400 to get started up, but it's costing me 14 to get the truck out of the door. The 1,000 being security purposes. So 1,400 for that. I already have a insurance policy. And what I did to save money, I went ahead and renewed my insurance policy a few days ago, and then as of yesterday, called in and got the quote for my box truck. So because I did that, when I call them from, I may actually start my policy today. I'm picking up the box truck Monday. Today is Saturday. So I may call in after I complete this video and go ahead and have Progressive start the policy for the box truck just to get everything moving. It's the weekend anyway. We're going right into Sunday, so it's not going to get anything done that much faster, but it's just a good idea, I'm thinking, to go ahead and start the policy today. But I actually pick up the truck Monday. So 1,400 down, to get the truck. And then I started my policy, over with my Sprinter van, then called and got a quote on the box truck. Because my policy is already paid up and renewed, I don't have to pay anything down. So towards the end of the month or the beginning of next month, I'll have a $1,700 initial payment. I've been already over the road at least 2.5 weeks generating money. So once again, less overhead, so that's kind of being new. You don't want to put all of your money into the startup costs and not have anything to back you as you move on down the line. It may be a rough first year. So that's what I experienced. My first year was rough. I barely made enough money to get by. So that's stuff you kind of want to plan for in advance before you jump out and spend every dollar you got and go and end up getting $12,000-$15,000 truck, maybe more than that, and then you don't have anything to back you. So like I said, 14 to start up with the rental company. Then I didn't have to put anything down on my insurance. I just pretty much have them add the truck and they bill me a month out because my policy is already active. Now, if I didn't have a policy and it was a new policy I was starting up, then you have to put that 1,700 down and then go into your monthly payments the next month. Because my policy is already active and I'm just adding a truck, I pay the 1,700 further down the line, like 3 weeks out, maybe a full month out. So you get that time to start rolling. And like I said, generate funds before you actually have to dish out that big insurance payment. So I purposely renewed my policy before I even mentioned a truck to Progressive because I knew how that process worked. So that's a tip on saving, a couple dollars in the long run. But yep, so nothing down for my insurance because I'm already in business. If I was new, 1,700 plus the 1,400 to get the truck out of the door, you still barely over $3,000. Okay, to start up. Then your ELD, you definitely gonna need that. Your UCR, you definitely gonna need that. The BOC3, you definitely gonna need that. And all of this stuff is not even gonna cost you another $1,000, I would say. And I'm over because I'm not doing direct numbers, but you say 3,200 with your truck and your insurance, and then another 1,000, to get all the essentials to actually get rolling. You only at a little over $4,000 to get started, as opposed to purchasing a truck and you out the gate gonna be over 10 grand. So that's something you want to think about starting up. You just saved yourself 6 to 10 grand starting up, and you're already generating cash. So that's not a issue. Some people put all of their money in the startups and then don't even know how they're going to generate cash. So to me, that wouldn't be a good idea. So like I said, about 4 grand to get you, in the door. And I'm not including starting you probably want to already have, started your LLC and got your EIN before you do any of the things I'm talking about in the video. So I'm not including starting your LLC, but to actually get your vehicle, get your insurance, get the essentials to get you on the road, I'm looking at, for, the average person, that's a little over 4 grand to get rolling. Me, it's actually going to be a little under 3 grand because I don't have to put the 1,700 down initially. And that's just my initial cost. That's my initial down payment on the policy. I'm being charged $1,300 a month for a policy on my box truck at Amazon limits. So that's $1 million general liability, 100,000 cargo, $2 million aggregate, and another $1 million in auto liability. So, yeah, that's what they set my policy limits at, just so I'm able to, as soon as I'm ready, jump in with Amazon also. But it's costing me $1,300 a month, $1,700 now, $1,300 a month. And I've been with Progressive for 2 years now, so that may play into the rate I'm getting. I've been hearing a lot of 15, and then you get to adding drivers, it might be more than that. Eventually, I will need to add a driver. So that's going to come, later down the line also. But yeah, initially for me, it's right under 3 grand, if not a little less to get started. Like I said, 1,400 pretty much to get the truck out of the door, and then just my essentials. I've had an ELD for over a year from Keep Trucking that I never use because I operate a Sprinter van. We don't do hours of service. We don't use an ELD. So initially starting up, I bought an ELD. They tricked me into getting one, and I didn't need it. They actually charged me $35 for a few months, me not being on top of stuff I should have been on top of because I was overwhelmed initially. So a couple years back, starting up, bought a ELD from Keep Trucking, never used it. They snuck in charges on my card, and I've always had the ELD. So I just got to get it activated, which I probably still will end up going through Keep Trucking just because of the simplicity of their ELD, and, it's common, any DOT officer is going to be familiar with the Keep Trucking ELD. So that's something to think about also. But yeah, that's, the first reason, but that's the first reason why I'm renting before buying, which is just less overhead, and then The second reason is going to be it's 100% tax deductible, expense. So whatever you spend to rent for the year, if you have, which you will have a LLC, when you file taxes, it will be tax deductible. So, and fully tax deductible, meaning the total amount. If you finance a vehicle or buy a vehicle, it's broken down into yearly amounts over a period of time, depending on how fast your vehicle depreciates. So you will not get your full cost of your vehicle deducted, in 1 year. It'll be like when I filed my taxes, I had to, put in my vehicle depreciation. And that's how they paid me back for financing my vehicle, and usually vehicle depreciation is summed up over like a 5-year period of time, and it breaks down into the total cost of your vehicle broken down into yearly sums that add up to 5 years. Whole different story. But long story short, it's 100% tax deductible as opposed to buying where you just have to claim vehicle depreciation on your taxes. So everything I spend to rent will be credited back to me tax-wise at the end of the year. So that's the second reason why I chose to rent over just go flat out and buy a box truck. Okay. The third reason is going to be all of my maintenance is covered. So it's a peace of mind. I'm immediately going OTR, over the road. So I don't want to be worried about my truck breaking down if I can get through the mountains, if I can go west with the differences in the heat and the elevation and the problems that tends to cause vehicles, so that's something to think about starting out. Also, you can go spend $20,000 on a truck and it break down on you within the first 30 to 60 days, and you want to, take that into consideration. With a rental, roadside assistance, all maintenance covered. You just simply have to take it in, have it maintenance. If you got a good relationship with your truck rental company, they will give you a rental truck like a pickup or something like that to keep for the weekend while they maintenance your truck. So it's a super sweet deal. You pay nothing. If your truck does happen to just completely break down, then it turns into a situation where they'll just swap your truck out quickly and you go about your way. So you won't ever have a situation where you have a bunch of lost time because of maintenance. So getting in, you want to be rolling. You want to be able to take whatever load, go wherever. You don't want to worry about, oh, my lift gate just stopped working. Oh, I gotta, get this done or that done. No, you want to be able to say, hey, if you're paying me right for the load, I'm going. So it's not an issue of my truck might not make it. So that's the third reason why I am choosing to rent before buying a box truck. All maintenance covered, roadside assistance, any issues, it's covered. Okay. The fourth reason is I am not a mechanic. I know a lot about cars, very little about trucks. So therefore, I want to operate somebody else's equipment and learn the common problems and issues that arise out of box trucks, what to look for, as issues when I'm buying a box truck, what, everything should look like, what the condition should be of, just everything before I actually go out and commit to buying a truck. So as I'm driving, they're giving me a 2019 International. I wouldn't buy International, but once again, it's their truck. So they're responsible for it. So, hey, I'm going to drive it. But that gives me kind of a chance to kind of see what breaks in the first 3 months. And you're going to have maintenance. I currently operate out of a Sprinter van, and one particular 2 week span, I had $3,000 worth of maintenance on a Sprinter van. And that's not common, but that happened, in a 2 week span. Initially, I had my scheduled maintenance, which was $1,200, and that was oil change. I got my brakes completely done and rotors all the way around, air filter, all of that good stuff. Left, and within a week, get an engine light. Go back, they tell me it's my knock sensors. So I turn around and fork out $1,800 a week later to get that replaced, because initially I had it replaced about 100,000 miles ago, which my van was still under warranty, so it was free. This time I had to fork out $1,800 for a total of $3,000 in 2 weeks for one van. Okay, so a box truck could be way more expensive than that. If you think that's expensive for a van, imagine what you're gonna pay for a box truck, that's breaking down and got stuff going. Those same issues that I had with my van, if you had those with a box truck, imagine what you would have spent. So that being said, that's something you want to think about. You got a chance to learn a box truck, learn the common issues, learn what to look for, learn what the conditions of different components should be before making a full-on commitment to buy or finance a truck. Okay, so that's my fourth reason why I chose to rent before buying. And the fifth reason is going to be, and it kind of ties into, the fourth and the third, but it's going to be safety. Okay. Once again, you going to unfamiliar places, you taking loads, wherever they got you going, you ready, you rolling. So with that being said, you want to make sure that you're safe, because not only can your truck break down, but you can actually have an issue that can possibly put your safety in danger. So, you don't want to be in a sticky situation 1,500 miles from home, and, anything could happen. You got faulty equipment, faulty tires, anything could happen. So I feel safer in a well-maintenance vehicle, a newer vehicle, and, that ties into, why I want to rent before buying is safety. And along with safety, put a slash mark in there, DOT. Okay, you can go buy a truck, spend however much for it, and realize this truck might not even be DOT compliant. Okay, so you get out there. I've seen a couple operators on a couple different forums say first few weeks out, boom, DOT inspection. You get a truck, you take it out there and find out it's not up to par, and you just got flagged, put out of service, and a fine because you wanted to buy before, actually figuring out what it was going to take. With renting, I know when I pick the truck up, I can get on the road the same day if I feel like it. And if not, then I'm going back to the rental company, and now I have an issue. So that's what you're looking at when, you're going into, either buying or renting. That's security of knowing I'm safe. And, if DOT chooses to stop me for whatever reason, I'm going to be compliant. And you want to be compliant. You don't want to do anything in the first 3 to 6 months of having your authority, that's going to end up getting you into, issues that could potentially just completely put you out of business. So that's something you kind of want to think about, when you're getting into either buying or renting. And the final thing is, it ties into everything I just said. It's no initial commitment. So I've been out over the road. I forecasting that I think that I will be very successful over the road in a box truck. I don't really have a whole lot of doubt in my mind. But coming in, you never know, and some people don't have the, chance to get out over the road. It could be a Mercedes being Metris, you know, but being out over the road, away from home, being able to survive, eating and shopping in Walmart and how you gonna sleep and all of that stuff. Some people just, it's a bad deal for them and they don't realize they don't want to do it. So that's the final reason why. It's no initial commitment. You haven't bought anything. You simply got a DOT number, a MC number, you got your authority, and you started, working, going over the road or doing Amazon or whatever. At any time, you can take that truck back and your authority could go inactive whenever you wanted to. So you are not committed to anything. So I would highly recommend before, actually buying a vehicle, you're able to go out and, rent and just, figure out if that's actually what you want to do. Like I said, the problems, and issues, and then go from there. And then maybe 3 to 6 months, you might be ready to buy your first truck and hey, this is definitely what I want to do. If you like making money, it should be what you want to do. But like I said, you don't know till you actually get out and see. So to me, renting is definitely what you want to start out doing. It's the best way for me. I'll probably end up having a box truck that I'm financing within 30 to 60 days. I'm still looking forward to renting initially. And then, like I said, further on down the line, I will look into swapping out my Sprinter van, for a box truck I'm going to be financing, because I'm going to literally just let that sit right at home on the driveway. And I'm going to take the box truck out and do my thing in that. And I will be able to cover the cost of my Sprinter, as needed. And I also still have that leased on to, an expedited shipping company. So I'm going to be running the box truck under my authority and my DOT number. But my Sprinter van is actually ran under another company's authority and their DOT number. So if I'm home, I can always call them and say, hey, let me get some expedites. Let me get some van loads. And that'll cover the cost on my Sprinter, and then the box truck will pay for itself. So, yeah, that's the plan. And this video ran a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but I wanted to get all of the information in there. Sometimes I look back over my videos and I'm like, oh, I missed something. So I wanted to get all of this in there, pretty much, all of the pluses or the advantages to renting before buying. So with that being said, I ain't gonna hold up a whole lot more, you guys. It's time. You guys take it easy, stay safe out there, and have a good one. Appreciate you.